And now welcome back inside the Collins Arena as we get set for the second Region semifinal game in the Region 19 tournament. Brian Goudsworth, Tim Catalfamo back here with you as the hometown Jersey Blues will take on Sussex today. Brookdale, the #1 team all season long in the Region 19 tournament, but Tim, working through some issues here down the stretch of the season, didn't close particularly strongly, and now they're going to be without one of their best players in Haley Delonzo, who is inactive. So the question is how they get some scoring here to try to get them going again.
Well, they need to get off to a strong start, and you kind of documented it. The last couple of games, Brookdale hasn't necessarily been playing their best basketball, and that's something that Coach Brunson alluded to when we were talking to him pre-game. They haven't been playing their best basketball. The last time they played Sussex, Sussex beat them by 5. So this is an uphill battle for the Jersey Blues. Even though they're the #1 seed, they have come in here kind of in a way limping. They're not necessarily as strong as we've seen other 1-seed teams be in past years. They're still a good team, but they're going to need players like Anna Catanzaro and Jessica Poplowski downstairs to step up big, along with other players like Rachel Routh and the two Griffith sisters. So those players, I think, are going to have to come up big. Deja Anderson, another player that has played very well for Brookdale. Sussex has got plenty of weapons on their side of the ball as well, so it'll be a very interesting matchup.
And the aforementioned Sussex is at the #5 seed, and Tim, what makes them particularly dangerous is the presence of Alyssa Aragonia, who's one of the most talented players in all of the region.
She is. She's got a really good form. She's a very good shooter, and she's a player that can play both offense and defense. So for Coach Gaffney in her 4th season, she's going to be expecting a lot out of her this afternoon, because I really do think if Aragonia can get going early on, it's going to be tough for Brookdale to mount a charge late in the game.
These two teams split the meetings during the regular season. They play now for the right to take on Passaic in the region tournament. We'll get set to turn our attention to the action and the starting lineup on your screen there. First for the visiting Skylanders, and they will go with Phoebe Livingston, Alyssa Aragonia, Casey Langenbach, Lana Varkata Payne, and Hannah Delberry will be the starting 5 for head coach Caitlin Gaffney in her 4th season at the helm. And there are the Jersey Blues, who are about to be introduced in front of their home fans here at the Collins Arena. And Rich Brunson is going with Rachel Rouse, Danielle Griffith, Anna Catanzaro, Deja Anderson, and Jessica Poplowski. And in the absence of Haley Delonzo, that allows other players like Catanzaro and Poplowski to get a bigger opportunity.
And they certainly are going to have to step up and match that opportunity that they have now in front of them. Coach Brunson told us pre-game that he's been working with them in practice during this week. He's been very impressed in particular by Anna Catanzaro this week in practice. So look for them to come up big. I'm also going to be looking for Deja Anderson, one of the players that has come on late onto the Jersey Blues. She's played a handful of games this season, but she's a very gifted player. She'll have to come up big as kind of the player, along with Rachel Rouse, that'll be handling the point for the most part for the Jersey Blues.
So the Jersey Blues getting all geared up and ready for action. There's the pregame huddle, and they're ready to disperse and take the court. Sussex has already taken to the court. Brookdale, who lost just 3 times all season long. The overall record, a dominating 23-3. And they're trying to punch their ticket to the Region 19 championship here tomorrow afternoon. The officials this afternoon, Nate Santana, Teresa Coniar, and Craig Moranci, were underway with Sussex controlling the opening tip. And here's Aragonia right to the basket. Shot misses, and Rouse tracks it down.
We talked about in the opening, Aragonia is going to be a player that for Sussex that is going to have to get off to a good start. Immediately, as soon as she got that ball, she took it to the rim. So Sussex is here to play.
Rouse knocks down a 3 as she stepped back against Langenbach, and the first points on the board.
And Rachel Rouse, a player that we haven't talked about too much the last couple of games that Brookdale has played in the Collins Arena. She's been fairly quiet, but getting the Blues off to a very strong start.
Aragonia shot misses, and here comes Deja Anderson. For Poplowski, they give her the jumper. She finds Catanzaro, and she scores.
That was perfect execution there by the Jersey Blues, coming down the floor with Anderson, finding Poplowski, who popped out of the paint. She found Catanzaro, and then Catanzaro was able to finish inside.
Brookdale fans are on their side. 1 minute in, it's 5-0 Jersey Blues, and they got a steal. It's Poplowski. Anderson dribbling the other way.
Smart recognition there by Anderson to realize she didn't have the numbers. There's no rush. It's early in the first quarter. Take your time, work for a good shot.
Rouse, this one's in and out, and it's rebounded by Delberry. Casey Langenbach for Aragonia. Skylanders get set up. They look to crack the scoreboard for the first time. Langenbach doubled on the drive and a foul called. And it's the first foul of the game thus far, and it comes at the 8:21 mark of this opening quarter.
And if you're Sussex, you're going to want to attack inside. You're going to want to try to get Brookdale in foul trouble. So if I'm the Skylanders, I'm trying to get that ball inside the paint as many times as I can.
And that's Phoebe Livingston, who's a little shaken up as she got hit pretty hard on that drive. And now she steps to the free throw line. So quickly, a couple of fouls picked up. This one is on Poplawski, and she substitutes out of the game. Danielle Griffith is in.
And I know that Brookdale has a 5-0 lead, and they've gotten off to a strong start offensively, but 2 quick personal fouls on 2 of your more talented players on the floor, that's not a way to start a game on defense.
So we'll see if Sussex can take advantage. Delberry in the post, lost it, and taken away Catanzaro. Anderson for Griffith inside, didn't catch it cleanly, finds Rouse on the perimeter, 3 on the way, doesn't go, and it's rebounded by Aragonia. Aragonia for Livingston, a fake, baseline drive. Langenbach inside, off the glass and in.
And I like that attack by Livingston. She could have easily have pulled that down from behind the 3-point line, but instead she drove it inside and a nice find to Langenbach.
5-2 Brookdale with 7.5 to play in the opening quarter. Anderson, jump shot, she's got it for 2.
And I talked about how Anderson is such a gifted player. Look at her form when she pulls up for a jump shot. Sussex cannot leave her that open because 9 times out of 10, she's going to knock down that shot.
Anderson, who averages just under 14 points a game, has been a welcome addition here in the second semester. Delberry couldn't catch it, and it's out of bounds to the Jersey Blues. Sussex having some troubles getting into the offense. And Brookdale without Delonzo on the floor has played well offensively to start. They have an early 5-point lead. Handed off for Rouse. Rouse puts up a jumper. Too strong. Long rebound. Catanzaro couldn't catch it. Rouse does. Griffith up from the baseline. Off the rim, no. And the rebound collected by Delberry. Casey Langenbach to the basket with a floater. Tipped up in the air, and Rouse got it.
And so far, not bad looks for Sussex. They just haven't been able to get anything inside to drop, but I like the aggressiveness going to the hole and trying to draw some contact.
Griffith sets a high screen. Anderson, or Danielle Griffith, stripped of the ball, and back the other way is Langenbach. She's got a couple to beat and lost the handle, but Aragonia sliding on the floor to keep it with the Skylanders. And then it's taken away in the paint by Anderson. She grabs hold of it and settles it down for Rouse. Rich Brunson, sensing his team a little out of control, is going to stop the clock for a timeout. And it is a 30-second timeout, so there you see the Brookdale bench. Each season under Rich Brunson, this now the 3rd, and Brookdale has amassed the 20-win plateau in all 3, as their success has continued, and of course this year has been by far the best, being the #1 seed in the region.
Yeah, it certainly has been the most impressive season in the 3rd year under Coach Brunson, and something that's interesting about that is Brunson has now 3 years in a row since taking over the head coaching job, led a team to the Region 19 tournament. They haven't always won. They went to the national tournament in his first year. They didn't win last year. They came up very close. They lost to Rowan College of Gloucester County in the championship game, but this overall clearly has been the best year that Brunson has had as a coach of the Jersey Blues, and to come to the tournament 3 years in a row, that's a very impressive feat.
Yeah, Brookdale won the region 2 years ago before falling in the Nationals, and then last year, as you mentioned, falling victim to Rowan Gloucester in a 78-67 defeat. This year, though, only 3 losses all season long. And they've dealt with some issues throughout the year, but what's remained consistent has been the wins. Anderson pull-up jumper, tried to go glass. Catanzaro the offensive rebound.
Good rebounding there by Brookdale.
Griffith puts it on the floor, drives in, shot well contested, and Catanzaro touched it last.
Last couple of possessions, Brookdale's been doing a good job of boxing out, but when you get that rebound, you've got to make use of it. They just haven't been able to so far capitalize on those offensive rebounds so far.
Sussex, meanwhile, a 16-win season. They were 16-10 during the regular year. They've been turning it over, though, with frequency here in the first. Brookdale working with a 5-point lead. Inside Catanzaro, posting, turnaround, shot short, and it's rebounded by Aragonia. Livingston through the paint. It goes down, plus the foul. Phoebe Livingston a chance for a 3-point play. It's on Deja Anderson. All 3 fouls thus far have been on Brookdale. Livingston, the freshman out of Stillwater. 3-point play is good. Alexis Espada comes in. And Catanzaro to the Brookdale bench. About halfway through the first. Low scoring to start. Anderson puts up a shot, and hit by Delberry to Aragonia.
And just not a very good possession there for the Jersey Blues. You got to work the ball around a little bit more. Just not very good ball movement there.
Livingston with a beautiful find for Lena Barquette at Payne, and she has her first points. We're tied up at 7.
And now you're starting to see Sussex adjust to Brookdale's pace and settle in.
Anderson able to hit on the pull-up in the paint, and Brookdale regains a 9-7 advantage. Aragonia. Feed it down low for Langenbach. Aragonia at the foul line. Livingston drives inside. Floating shot, banks it in.
And how about Livingston, a player that only averages 11 points a game? She's got several now and is doing it by being aggressive and going to the rim. Nice job.
Anderson, that's a blocking foul as she ran into Livingston. And there, Sussex will pick up their first team foul. It comes after better than 6 minutes have been played. Not in the act of shooting. Anderson to inbound it. Espada open in the corner, but Anderson goes with Rouse. Rouse with Livingston. Taking her off the dribble. Lost it out of bounds, and it's Skylander ball.
Yeah, and I'm not quite sure what's happened the last couple of possessions. I know that Brookdale came out and started off very strongly, but the last couple times down the floor, they really haven't been passing the ball around a whole lot. They haven't been trying to work for a good shot. A lot of dribbling by whoever's got the ball, but not really much movement on offense. That's got to change because now Sussex has closed the gap. They're tied the game up, and now they're starting to hit their rhythm on offense.
And they have a chance to take their first lead in the early going. Delberry unable to, and it's rebounded by Danielle Griffith. Now Brookdale looking to push the tempo. It's Anderson for Rouse. They play catch. Anderson jab step at a 3. That's way short, and back to Sussex.
And that's a good look. I'm not criticizing the look. That's a good look for Deja Anderson, but it's early on in the shot clock. In a situation like that, I think that Brookdale's got to do a little bit better job of working the ball around the perimeter, possibly getting the ball inside. It's a good look, but especially early on in the shot clock, maybe not so much the greatest timing for a 3.
So we remain tied up at 9. There's Caitlin Gaffney, 4th season at the helm of the Skylander program. Livingston drills it. It's a 3 for Phoebe Livingston, and Sussex takes the lead.
And that play happened because Sussex kicked the ball to the corner, and everyone forgot that Livingston was open at the top of the key. She got the ball, and she was wide open for a look, a player that doesn't knock down too many threes, but certainly was able to hit that one.
Brookdale in somewhat of a scoring drought. Anderson can't change that. Griffith has it ripped away, but it stays with the Jersey Blues. Last touch, Langenbach. And so the Brookdale inbounder is Anderson. 2:11 to play in the first. Rouse for 3. Catanzaro tips it out, and Aragonia gets a running start with it for Sussex. Aragonia around Rouse, layup misses, and it's rebounded by Anderson. Pushing back this way. Anderson gives up her dribble. Brookdale will get reset. Catanzaro catch and shoot, and she is called for a travel. So Sussex got here with a 51-46 win against Bergen in the region quarterfinals, and that was a game that needed overtime to decide it. They were outside the top 4 in the region, but here they are playing in the Final Four. They lead by 3. Here is Aragonia for 2.
And now you're really starting to see Sussex settle in on offense. They're getting Aragonia going. That was a good look and a nice jump shot. But one thing that Sussex is doing is they're moving the ball around, and they're trying to get different looks. Brookdale the last couple of possessions has come down and has done a lot of dribbling, but not that much movement on offense. That's got to change.
Griffith rimming, and no good. Tipped by Catanzaro, who touched it last. Sussex did. Boy, that ball hit every part of the rim.
Sometimes you have shots that do that. Sometimes they go in. It's really disappointing when after all that, it doesn't drop.
Espada fires. Doesn't go. Offensive rebound, Griffith, and she's fouled. Danielle Griffith getting the offensive rebound, and she'll step to the line. Second team foul on Sussex.
And that's going to be a crucial area for the Jersey Blues. They're going to have to get rebounds, and second and third chance opportunities. That's something that the last several games has been a Achilles heel, so to speak, where they haven't been able to rebound. They haven't been able to do a good job boxing out. That's one thing that they've got to do a better job of, and that's something that Coach Brunson told us pre-game. He's been working with his team in practice to get them better and more able to box out and bring those rebounds down.
Second attempt for Danielle Griffith is no good, and it's rebounded by Varkata Payne. Livingston's ahead of the floor. Livingston on the attack. Layup, no. Offensive rebound. Langenbach in traffic. Aragonia tries. It goes, and one.
We just talked about boxing out. Brookdale did not do a very good job boxing out on that last possession. A lot of players for Sussex underneath the basket. It's not enough just to have bodies down there. You have to box out and then back people up, back out the defensive players that are underneath the rim. Brookdale did not do that on that possession.
Boy, Brookdale started with a 5-0 lead. Since then, it is a 16-4 extended run by the visiting Skylanders, as they've opened up a 7-point lead. Here's Rouse with a runner. It goes down.
That was a much-needed bucket because you mentioned it. They had been on a scoreless drought. Much needed. Now we'll see if Brookdale, towards the end of the first quarter, can get something going.
Shot clock turned off. Sussex takes their time, working with a 16-11 lead. Livingston just dribbles. Aragonia top of the key. 4 seconds left. Livingston inside, got a bump and a travel. And so Brookdale will have an opportunity with 2 1/10 seconds to try to get a shot away. Rouse not moving quickly, and Brookdale just let the final couple of seconds run off. So after one here in the Region 19 semifinal game, Brookdale and Sussex. Brookdale started strong, but Sussex closes on a big run. They lead it 16-11. You're watching the Region 19 tournament on Brookdale TV. Start of the second quarter. Brian Goudsward, Tim Catalfamo, the rest of our Brookdale TV crew with you all day today for a 4-game marathon in the Region 19 tournament. Semi-final games in the men's and women's sections. And that will set up the championship games to be played tomorrow afternoon at 12 and 2:30. Passaic has already punched their ticket. They knocked off Philadelphia in the opener with a 71-61 victory. And now we're ready to start the second. Brookdale has Rouse, Anderson, Griffith, Catanzaro, and Poplawski. They're down by 5. Poplawski, the high screen. Anderson drives, gets inside, throws it up. Poplawski fields it. Shot clock doesn't reset. Catanzaro short, and it's rebounded by Aragonia. Aragonia right around Rouse. Shot goes in. Looks like we have one of the men's teams arriving here at the Collins Arena. Here behind us. Catanzaro, nice move, and she draws the foul.
And that play right there is something that Brookdale is going to have to do. They're going to have to get the ball inside and try to draw some contact. You saw Catanzaro there with a nice feed inside to her, taking the aggressive spin move, going to the rim, trying to lean in and get contact, and now she's at the foul line.
Foul is on Hannah Delberry, and that's her second. Catanzaro first attempt. It's good. Catanzaro, a player that Rich Brunson felt had a very good week of practice, and he's relying on her to step her game up with Brookdale not having the benefit of Haley DeLonzo on the floor for the next couple of games.
Yeah, and Catanzaro has been quiet the last couple of matchups that Brookdale has had in this arena, but she's really good in the post area. If she can get going, it's going to be tough for Sussex to stop her.
Delberry can't convert, and Brookdale will have possession. Jersey Blues unbeaten here at the Collins Arena, a perfect 11-0 during the regular year, and now have the benefit of playing the region tournament games right here. Rouse using the Poplawski screen, comes up short, and another rebound, Aragonia. Livingston, a lot of contact from Anderson, who takes it away. Anderson hustling back. Rouse spots up for 3. And it's rebounded by Langenbach. Sussex has had the edge since the opening few moments when Brookdale had a 5-0 lead. That feels like a distant memory as Langenbach is able to hit it from the foul line.
And Sussex is just doing a better job of moving the ball around on offense. It's not so much that they're getting better looks than Brookdale. It's just they're moving the ball around better and getting the defense to be out of position so that when that shot goes up, they have a clear look at the bucket.
Anderson on a pull-up, way off the mark. And Langenbach for the Skylanders. Throws it ahead. Aragonia back to the perimeter. Now back inside. Good ball movement. Livingston fakes. Bounce pass, tip, and Rouse has it for the Jersey Blues. Rouse working on Aragonia. Tough shot, way short. And Rouse might be hurt as she takes an extra second to get back on defense, and Aragonia puts in an easy bucket for Sussex. This one getting away from Brookdale. It's a 9-point Skylander lead. Full timeout, 7:20 to play, first half. We'll be back. Sussex has been on a roll of late. They have themselves a 9-point lead. And a team that kind of snuck in to this Final Four here by beating Bergen in overtime in the quarterfinals. One thing for Brookdale, though, this was something that we talked about in a past broadcast. It's been a long layoff since they last played. In fact, it's been 2 weeks. And again, sometimes I think that can fuel a sluggish start.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't help things, especially if you haven't been up to game speed. But one thing that Coach Brunson is trying to do is trying to get his team more acclimated so that they are ready for game speed. But certainly they've gotten things off to a strong start in the first, but ever since then it's been a struggle to get more consistency going. So that's really been something that I'm sure is concerning to Coach Brunson. But yeah, the long layoff I don't think definitely helps Brookdale. They had a bye because they were the #1 seed, so that might not be working in their favor.
Catanzaro misfires, and it's out of bounds. Sussex is a team that played very well on the road throughout the year. They were just a 500 team at home, but on the road, 10-4. Langenbach, it doesn't go, but she is going to the free throw line. So the second leading scorer for the Skylanders takes her first trip, and the foul is on Danielle Griffith. Langenbach, the freshman out of Branchville, New Jersey, doesn't get the bounce.
And this has historically not been a very good foul shooting team for Sussex this season. They don't have a great average at the line, only shooting 61% as a whole. For Langenbach, she's only 49%. So even though if you're Brookdale, you don't want to commit too many silly fouls and get yourself in foul trouble, you don't have as much risk coming from Sussex at the foul line.
Catanzaro regathers. Shot clock at 12. Anderson, jump shot, too strong, and another rebound for Aragonia. She's been busy. Backing in, and she scores.
Yeah, and this is just starting to get out of hand. Brookdale's got to do a better job in transition, getting back on defense. It's just too easy now for Sussex.
11-point Sussex lead. Anderson drives in. Turnaround shot off the back rim, and a rebound. Delberry slapped away, and then it rolls over for Varcata Payne as the Skylanders get into the front court, and a travel is called.
There's just got to be more passing on offense. I've seen now Anderson come down the floor a couple times, shoot. Rachel Rouse did the same thing when she was in the game. You just have got to work the ball around more. You can't just depend on one player. Brookdale just is coming away from what they had in the first quarter, which was working so effectively when they were moving the ball around the perimeter.
Griffith one-on-one on the perimeter. Catanzaro from the foul line, short, on a bounce to Langenbach. Livingston, they've gotten away with an extra step. Anderson gets up defensively. Livingston goes around her, stripped of the ball, and it'll be Brookdale ball. They got a foul on Sussex after Griffith got the steal, and that's the team's second. It's on Langenbach. Danielle Griffith out of the game, and Danielle, her sister, is the replacement. Brookdale stagnant offensively, just seems like one player handles and shoots, and as you said, not a lot of ball movement. Cross court for Rouse. Catanzaro in and out. And a fight for the basketball will go in the direction of Sussex.
And I know that shot didn't go in by Catanzaro, but that was a much better offensive possession because you moved the ball around. You got Sussex to move on defense. That's something that it's just kind of basics in basketball. You've got to get that defense to work a little bit. That's why it's called working for a good shot. Brookdale did that, just didn't go in, but I like that aggressiveness.
Aragonia for three. And once she starts to get going, you're in trouble.
I was just going to say, we talked about her in the opening. She's a really talented player. Brookdale cannot allow her to be that open.
Stepping in front, Langenbach for the steal. Langenbach able to get it to go. And Sussex has everything working. A 16-point lead after they fell behind 5-0 before you could blink. And this is rather stunning. Poplawski Good position and gets it to go. That was much needed.
And a much needed bucket. You talked about it, Brian, but a really nice move by Poplawski. That spin move, that was a really good move. She's going to have to get that ball more often in that position.
Aragonia not that time. Barcata Payne on the offensive glass. Reset of the shot clock. To the baseline, Langenbach. Back out, Livingston. On the drive. Got a bump from Poplawski. Aragonia inside the arc, off the rim. It's loose and picked up by Rouse. Brookdale trying to cut into this 14-point deficit. Anderson puts up a three. Won't go. Offensive rebound. Poplawski gets the putback.
And how about Poplawski in the last two possessions? A nice job boxing out downstairs, getting that rebound and putting it up and in.
And now the press is on, with Brookdale getting some momentum, but easily beaten by the Skylanders. 3 minutes to go, second quarter, in a 12-point game. Langenbach back out, Aragonia for three, short. Long rebound, Griffith. Deja Anderson. Catanzaro. Another offensive rebound for Poplawski, ripped away. And is it a jump ball or a foul on Langenbach? It's a foul. And it's Sussex' third team foul.
And that's a good call. Was some contact downstairs, but how about Poplawski? The last 3 times down the floor, she has been underneath getting those rebounds, and we're finally starting to see Brookdale the last couple of possessions play like we know that they are capable of. They're just doing a better job of working that ball around, and of course the rebounds certainly help.
30-second timeout. It's Sussex 29, Brookdale 17. And one thing we haven't seen from Brookdale is they haven't been able to go to that full court press, which is often effective. As they start getting going offensively, though, they'll do more of that in hopes that they can get closer.
Yeah, it's not so much that they don't want to go to that full court press, it's just that a lot of the buckets that Sussex has had in this first half have come in transition. They've come running down the floor either on a missed shot that's a long rebound or on a fast break opportunity. So as they're coming down the floor, Brookdale really doesn't have an opportunity to go to a full court press. So that's been part of the reason, but you're absolutely right. If Brookdale can get some more points on the board and get some things to go their way in these last 2.5 minutes, so to speak, in this first half, you might see Coach Brunson put the press on towards the end of the halftime, towards the end of this first half.
Outside the timeout, Anderson the inbounder.
I'd like to see them get the ball into Poplawski or Catanzaro.
Rouse unable to hit. Another offensive rebound, Poplawski. Rouse knocks it down. It's a three. All set up by Poplawski, who is becoming a machine on the offensive glass.
And now here comes the full court press.
And it is a turnover for Sussex. Brookdale crowd getting into it now.
And that was a nice three by Rouse in that possession, but you can't get too complacent and just go for the threes. You've got to get that ball inside as well.
Griffith in the post. Poplawski, yes, and one. Oh, Jessica Poplawski. She has provided a spark. I think by my count, she has an offensive rebound in 5 straight Brookdale possessions. Now she's at the line trying to make good on a three-point play. The long ritual at the line. Shot off the front rim. Offensive rebound. Anderson. Rouse for three. Off the glass. It's good.
And how about that, Brian? It was a 12-point deficit. You look up and blink, and it's down to 4.
29-25. Livingston way short. Anderson gets to it for Brookdale.
And now you're finally starting to see a little bit of fire from Brookdale. They looked a little lethargic to open this game, but now they're really firing on all cylinders.
Griffith can't connect. Poplawski again, and she's going back to the line. Oh, the turning point in this half is when Poplawski came in and decided she wasn't going to allow anyone else on the floor to get a rebound.
Well, she's done a really good job, and it's just simple basketball. It's boxing out. Poplawski a very talented player in that regard. They've had issues boxing out in the paint area all season, but Coach Brunson has worked in that during practice, and you're really seeing Poplawski really perform very well. Probably the best first half that she's had all season.
Alina Hoxa is in for the first time on the Sussex side. Catanzaro is making her way to the scorer's table, set to check in at the next dead ball. Poplawski, second attempt. And it's good, 2 out of 2. Here is Catanzaro. And she is coming in for Poplawski, who deserves a well-earned hand.
And just to further that point, there's not too many people on Sussex side of the ball that can match up against Poplawski with her size. She's 6'2". Not really that many players on Sussex that are above 6 foot. A lot of them are below that threshold, so it gives her an advantage inside.
This game tightening up. 2-point Sussex lead. Shot clock at 10. Delberry. Aragonia in the paint, short, and it's rebounded by Catanzaro. We'll hit the 1-minute mark until the halftime break. It's Anderson going all the way for the layup. And this game is tied at 29. Press on again. Into the front court, Aragonia's trapped. And a timeout taken by Sussex. Aragonia had nowhere to go with the ball, and so a 30-second timeout was necessary.
And how about this run by Brookdale, Brian? I mean, wasn't the score 29-17 just literally a few moments ago? This has been an incredible, from my count, from what I'm calculating up here in the booth, that's a 12-0 run for the Jersey Blues. So unbelievable how much energy now that they have on the floor. They were very lethargic. They weren't really doing a very good job on offense. Now they're getting the ball inside. And how about Jessica Poplawski with the rebounds, putting them up and in, going to the foul line, knocking them down from the foul line. So Brookdale just has completely turned around their game plan. I don't know if Coach Brunson said something during a timeout or maybe just the team just started getting frustrated, but they are really starting to fire themselves up and play very well.
Region semifinal matchup. The winner will play Passaic. It'll be tomorrow right here at the Collins Arena. 29 all, about a half-minute remaining second quarter. Aragonia for 2. It's short. She's got her own rebound. And shot is blocked by Griffith, and now Brookdale can hold for 1. 15 seconds to go in the quarter. Anderson just dribbles. Brookdale trying to set up a good shot. Anderson step back jumper. It's good! Brookdale takes the lead into the locker room. What a run to close out the half. 14-0 Jersey Blues to turn a 12-point deficit into a 2-point halftime advantage. Entertaining first half and a game of runs thus far. You forget this game started 5-0 Brookdale, and that feels like a really long time ago because then Sussex controlled it for much of the way, built up a 12-point lead, and then Jessica Poplawski was just determined to get every rebound in sight, created second chance opportunities. Rouse hit a couple of threes, and Brookdale was on their way to cutting into the deficit.
Yeah, Jessica Poplawski played really well, and that was one of the keys that we talked about in the beginning, Brian, how Jessica Poplawski and Anna Catanzaro, the two players in the post, were going to have to come up big for the Jersey Blues. They did just that, especially Jessica Poplawski. Really impressive getting those offensive rebounds. For Sussex, they're going to have to make an adjustment. I talked about Poplawski's size at 6'2". There's really not that many people that are within that 6-foot threshold. They're below that, so it's difficult to place a body on Poplawski to try to box her out, but Brookdale's really taking advantage of that and using it to their credit, getting a lot of rebounds, doing a very nice job inside. So I think that finally the Jersey Blues have woken up. Sussex really looked like they had gotten control of the game. Brookdale lately in the late stages of the first half, really started to click on all cylinders and get to the rim, which I think is something that Coach Brunson is going to have to tell his team to do more of in the second half. They were just chucking up threes, it seemed like, every time they came down the floor late in those first couple of minutes. So that's really going to have to change, but I tell you what, they've performed very well. They have a lead now. It's very impressive. I've been very impressed by this team in this first half.
31-29 is the Brookdale lead, trying to win the region for the second time in 3 years. If they win today, they will play tomorrow against Passaic. We're at the halftime break right now. 31-29 is the halftime score. Brian Goudsworth, Tim Catalfamo back here with you. Jersey Blues were sparked by Jessica Poplawski in that first half, but more importantly, Tim, it was once they got the ball moving, the offense started to click.
Yeah, certainly she's going to need to be a big key in the second half, and particularly for Brookdale, they're going to have to get the ball inside a lot more.
And the second half underway, so let's take the action. And it is Brookdale with a 33-29 lead in this Region 19 semifinal game where the winner will play Passaic. Sussex saw a big lead diminish and then turn into a deficit at the half as Langenbach is fouled on her way to the basket, and Brookdale picks up their first here in the third quarter.
And let's not forget that Sussex certainly has plenty of talent on their floor, and they can get back into the game very quickly. I was very impressed in particular in the first half by Phoebe Livingston. So they have plenty of talent. It's just now about trying to slow down Brookdale and tighten up inside. Brookdale's been going inside more, which is what they need to do. Tighten up inside and try to box out on defense.
Poplawski off the glass, it doesn't go. Rebound Langenbach.
But I like that feed inside to Poplawski. Get her to touch the ball at least once on a possession.
Aragonia couldn't get it to fall, and Anderson tips it to herself. Now she's running with Poplawski. Anderson, offensive foul. It's going the other way, wave off the basket.
And that's a shame because it was a really nice job done by Deja Anderson on the other end of the floor, tipping the rebound to herself and then coming down in transition. The reason why that's an offensive foul, Brian, is because Anderson lowered her shoulder. Had she gone up a little bit straight into the defender, that probably would have been a block.
Langenbach. Aragonia thought about it. Ball on the perimeter. Cross court to Livingston on the drive, and a bounce pass and called for a travel. Brookdale starts the half with Rouse, Anderson, Danielle Griffith, Catanzaro, and Poplawski. Just over 2 minutes into this third quarter. Catanzaro calling for it. She passes for Griffith. Poplawski stationed down low off her foot and over to the Skylanders.
And that's unfortunate because Poplawski had a step on the defender and looked like she was coming around to possibly have an opportunity close underneath the basket to score there, but unfortunately turned it over.
That pass is intercepted by Anderson. It was just floating up there, and then Anderson has it stripped. It's on the baseline, and Brookdale retains it. It's Livingston helping Anderson to her feet. Good show of sportsmanship there. And Anderson to inbound it. Rouse is wide open, puts up a three. It's good!
Yeah, and Rachel Rouse had been struggling from behind the three-point line in the first half. She started to hit a couple late in the second quarter, and now she's really starting to hit her stride.
She banked one of them in as Varkata Payne will go to the line. Shot doesn't go.
That's a good job by Sussex, getting the ball inside, trying to go to the line, maybe give Brookdale a dose of their own medicine, so to speak, in the paint.
Catanzaro charged with her first. And Lena Varkata Payne for the first time at the line. Too strong on the first one for the freshman from Ogdensburg, New Jersey. You know where that is? I've never heard of it. Ogdensburg?
I have no idea. Do you think I'm a geographer? I have no idea.
Well, there was that one town. It was like really long, and you knew it right away. It was like Frelinghuysen.
I guess I'm not recalling that situation. Was it on Sussex or a different team?
I believe it was Sussex, actually. Yeah, you know who it was? It was Tantliff, who was inactive today. Brookdale with a 6-point lead.
I'll have to go back and check that one.
Poplawski driving baseline. Back out Anderson.
I'm impressed, though, that you would think that I would have that type of knowledge.
Anderson unable to hit. Ball loose. Poplawski. Another offensive rebound, and then foul by Aragonia. Out on the perimeter. Did they get a foul, or is it just a timeout?
I think Coach Brunson called a timeout, which I'm not sure why, other than maybe just to draw up a play, because Brookdale did get the rebound.
It was a quick timeout. So with his team in front, 36-30, we'll try to devise a play to extend that lead.
One thing that Brookdale's got to be careful of is they have 3 team fouls right now in this third quarter. You still have 6.5 minutes to play. Sussex has yet to commit a personal in the third. Team that gets to 5 team fouls, it's 2 shots the other way for the rest of the quarter. So for the Jersey Blues, they have to be careful with a 6-point lead not to start committing silly fouls. We've seen them at different times this year be tripped up by that in different games. So Brookdale's got to be careful here. Maybe the reason for the timeout, I'm not sure, but that's something that I'm noticing from up here.
Anderson running the point, using the Poplawski screen. Anderson for a jumper. Poplawski offensive rebound. And Brookdale holds on to it. There was just no answers inside for Poplawski on the offensive glass.
And I've been very impressed with her. She's just doing a good job positioning herself. She knows when that shot goes up that she's got to be somewhere in the paint as a miscommunication there leads to a turnover. But still, I've been very impressed by her play, not just in this first half, but continuing into the third quarter.
So it'll be Sussex ball. And there's Rich Brunson. 36-30, Brookdale ahead. Pass tipped by Rouse to the Sussex bench.
And Sussex just looks a little bit confused on offense. They were getting everything to go their way in the first half, but they look a little bit slow. Brookdale has stepped up their intensity on the defensive end, and Sussex in some ways just looks a little bit lethargic, where they're trying to get things to work. They're trying to force the ball inside, but it's leading to turnovers.
Like there, as Rouse has it. Rouse picked up her pivot foot. Set up the offense with Anderson. Livingston on her. Anderson going to work on the drive in the hands of Catanzaro. Bank shot, no. Follows it up, and it goes.
And this is the way that we're used to seeing Brookdale play, with getting those offensive rebounds. Catanzaro downstairs there.
Livingston just threw it up, able to save it. Was Aragonia. Langenbach drills it.
Sussex definitely needed that. They needed some type of offense.
38-32. Approach the midway point of this third quarter. Anderson just holding. Catanzaro sets the screen. Griffith, pass taken away. It's Livingston. Chased by Anderson. Bounce it for Langenbach. Bank shot misses. Rebound Anderson. Anderson pushing ahead. A pull-up jumper. And it's going the other way. They got a foul on Brookdale away from the ball.
I think
It's
they're
their
going
fourth.
I think they're going to call it on Poplawski, and that's her second personal. I didn't quite see what happened, but unfortunate turnover there. Gives Sussex an opportunity. Remember, they're a pretty decent team as far as shooting is concerned around the perimeter, so this game is long from over. They just need to put together a couple of good possessions.
Aragonia floating pass to the corner. It's Livingston And that shot way off the mark, tries to save. It's Brookdale ball. Jersey Blues have only lost once in the conference all season, a 15-1 record, nearly spotless.
And that one loss was to Sussex.
One of just 3 losses all season long. Rouse comes up short, and the rebound picked up by Langenbach. She looks up the floor with it. Ahead for Aragonia, gathers it in. Shot misses, but fouled by Catanzaro.
Just a good time there by Sussex, realizing that Brookdale wasn't really set. They were having trouble transitioning back on defense. They kind of caught them sleeping a little bit, and Sussex took it to the rim, drawed the contact, and now they're at the foul line.
Aragonia shoots it at 70%. Brookdale has picked up all 5 team fouls of the third quarter as Sussex is yet to be penalized.
And I was just going to say the same exact thing. Now Brookdale's gotten themselves in a position where they're committing these fouls on the floor. They still have a lead, but Sussex has yet to commit a foul in this quarter, which means now that you have several players that have at least 2 or 3 fouls that are playing on the floor.
Brookdale with a 4-point lead. Rouse, offensive rebound, Griffith tied up by Langenbach. And it will go in the direction of Sussex.
Yeah, that's just not a great shot by Rachel Rouse. I know that she's been confident from behind the 3-point line, but she wasn't really set to take that jump shot in the first place, but it's early on in the shot clock as well, and I think that's something that is the bigger point. You have to get that ball to move around a little bit. You can't just come down the floor and chuck up a 3.
Langenbach short, long rebound Rouse, as Langenbach able to get to her feet. Livingston on Anderson. Anderson a crossover. Catanzaro, she's got it.
And that's Catanzaro's spot around the baseline, about 15 feet away. She really likes that corner shot, and that time a nice find by Anderson to find Catanzaro.
Langenbach backing in.
Good defense by Brookdale. They're not allowing any clean looks to get the ball in the paint.
Shot clock down to 7. Aragonia throws it up. Contact, no call. 2 seconds to shoot. Out of bounds with 1 as it was knocked out of the hands of Delbury. And now Sussex will have to devise a quick catch and shoot. Inbounder Livingston.
This is going to be a tough inbound. Because of where Phoebe Livingston is standing, you're almost going to have to get a tip up with 1 on the shot clock.
We'll see who she looks for. In for Langenbach, gets it off and hits at the horn, Casey Langenbach.
And that's so frustrating for Brookdale on defense because you hold the team to pretty good, not allowing any penetration inside. You hold them good for 29 seconds, and on that last second out of an inbounds pass, you give up a 2.
Rouse looking for an option. There's a whistle and a timeout.
Yeah, Brookdale just was not on the same page there. You saw Rouse trying to tell one of her teammates to come over, and they weren't on the same page, and that's why Coach Brunson takes a timeout.
Full timeout on the floor. 2:13 to play. Third quarter, Region 19 semifinal. We're coming back here on Brookdale TV. Brian Goudsward, Tim Catalfamo, the rest of our Brookdale TV crew with you today and all day here on Brookdale TV, where our telecasts are brought to you by Joyce's Subs and Pizza, and they are located at 655 Newman Springs Road in Lincroft and available online at joycesubsandpizza.com. 10 on the shot clock for Brookdale outside the timeout. They have to work quickly. And in the hands of Griffith, down to 3. Griffith turns, and it's corralled by Langenbach. Back the other way, the Skylanders. Langenbach, a jumper, short. Rebound, Rouse. Secures it. On a jump ball as getting in there was Aragonia. Possession arrow says it's Brookdale basketball.
Yeah, nice smart play made by Aragonia. She realized that Rachel Rouse, once she got that rebound, had come down, but you have a tendency when you get the rebound to come down and not dribble and just kind of hold the ball there, and you make yourself vulnerable because then all the defensive player that has to do at that point is just hold on to the ball for a jump ball.
Foul on Griffith's way to the basket. And there is finally the first team foul against Sussex in the third quarter. It's on Lana Varcata-Payne. Anderson fires way off. Rebound Livingston. Livingston ahead, it's taken away. Good transition defense from Danielle Griffith. Anderson, a hop step, jumper outside the foul line for two.
And Anderson, when she has time to set her feet, which she did there, Livingston left her maybe just a little bit too much room guarding her man-to-man to take that jumper. But when Anderson has time to set her feet, she's spot on. It's just the times when she doesn't set her feet, like we saw from that three from the corner, where she's off.
That's Aragonia from the baseline. 42-38, Brookdale leads it. Final minute, third quarter. Brookdale set to make two changes, and now it looks like that's not happening. Anderson, that's not a good turnover, just lost the handle on it, and Sussex will have possession.
Yeah, and Brookdale's keeping the door slightly open for Sussex. I know we still have another quarter to go, but you're keeping the door open, and this is a team in Sussex that you can't give that many opportunities to.
Aragonia short, rebound Poplawski's able to keep it in bounds. About a 3 or 4 second difference between the shot and game clock as we go down the stretch of this third quarter. Anderson takes her time. Loosely defended by Livingston. Anderson using the screen, puts up a shot, way short, out of bounds.
And just not a very good possession there. Again, a lot of dribbling by one player, but no real movement of the basketball. And I know that you want to take that clock down and try to take as much time on the possession when you're closing out the quarter as you can, but you've got to get that ball to move around a little bit more. That just wasn't a very good possession.
6.1 left, picked up by Livingston, rolling ball for Poplawski. With 1 second left, Rouse the heave. Oh, it goes! Oh, Rachel Rouse from just inside midcourt, and somehow it got the bounce and the roll.
Wow.
And after 3 quarters, it's Brookdale with a 45-38 lead. We'll come back for the fourth quarter. You're watching the Region 19 tournament on Brookdale TV. Minutes to play today. Second game of 4 here on our Brookdale TV airwaves. And you just saw Rachel Rouse hit a shot from just inside midcourt. What made that even more difficult is she wasn't coming straight down the middle of the floor. She was closer to the out-of-bounds mark. Got it to bank in. What a shot. As Brookdale has the momentum, you get another look at it. It's worth it.
Sometimes you got to be lucky and good at the same time. Wow. And we were just talking during commercial break. We saw Camry Brown, one of the players that Brookdale had on their team earlier this year, make a very similar basket, but not in as incredible fashion. I mean, that was incredible to bounce off the glass, off the rim, and in at the same time.
So 45-38 the score. Underneath the basket, picked up by Aragonia, and a jump ball is called. And Brookdale will take it. You got to give Brookdale a lot of credit, though, because this game didn't look like it was going their way. Sussex had built up a 12-point lead in that first half. Brookdale fought all the way back, took the lead at the break, and have continued their strong play here in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, you certainly have to give them credit for fighting back, as it looks like Livingston's going to pick up a personal foul there. But you look at where they were to start the game. They got off to a very hot start, and then Sussex really started to run their offense. And you saw Brookdale struggle to get the ball inside, take a lot of haphazard threes, I guess you could call them, and not really have much of an offensive look. That kind of changed towards the end of the first half. They started working the ball around. Poplawski really got Brookdale back into the game. So they've really come back, and it's probably been one of their more impressive games that we've seen as a whole coming back from behind.
Anderson, high arcing delivery, she knocks it down.
And again, I said a moment ago, if Anderson has an opportunity to set her feet and she's got a little bit of clearance in front of her, she's going to make that jumper 9 out of 10 times.
9-point Brookdale lead.
Sussex rather, just looks a little bit confused, Brian.
Shot clock's down to 7. Livingston has to make it happen. Drives in, lost it out of bounds, and it's Brookdale ball.
Should be Sussex ball, because I think Nate Santana had signaled that it was Sussex ball.
Good call by you, as initially Brookdale had lined up to have it, but it will be Sussex. I think they're going to have, yeah, the shot clock's at 3. So 3 to shoot for this, oh, now they up it to 4.
Yeah, it's a good call. It was 4 on the shot clock, and that ball went out of bounds.
And you saw that all the way.
Looks like they may change it to 3, actually. Put the shot clock down to 3 instead.
Well,
so
that's what they had it originally. Inbounder is Livingston. In for Langenbach. Aragonia throws it up. And Sussex has been a little bit out of sync here of late and have seen this game slowly start to get away from them.
Aragonia has been very quiet also as of late for Sussex, and that's something that if you're the Skylanders spells bad news, because she's one of the better players as far as shooting is concerned, puts a lot of points on the board.
Anderson way off the mark. It's picked up by Langenbach. Langenbach, a floater, doesn't get the roll. Aragonia ripped it away from Catanzaro, loose all over the place. Poplawski rolling toward midcourt. And a foul is called. It's on Brookdale.
And I think Poplawski may have rolled her ankle there as she was going down to the court. It's just kind of one of those plays where you're going for the loose ball.
And so she walks with a little bit of a limp, and she looks upset.
Yeah, she's definitely in a little bit of pain.
We'll have a timeout, it appears. I don't know if this is an official timeout here.
I think it's just an injury timeout just to make sure that Poplawski can get over to the bench, but definitely in some discomfort. And such a shame because she's been playing really well in this game. One thing, though, that was strange about that possession was Poplawski was all the way out at midcourt and not underneath the basket for the rebound. So I don't know if there was a miscommunication there for Brookdale trying to box out, but something obviously wasn't set the right way, because Poplawski should be one of the players that's underneath the basket when that shot goes up. So Brookdale was out of position. So I'm certainly hoping that
it was kind
Jess is okay.
Kind of a mad scramble.
Yeah, that was just one of the shots that Poplawski made earlier in the game. But
and of course, with Brookdale already down Haley DeLonzo, they can't afford any other key inactives. And Poplawski, you could argue, has been the MVP of this game because of what she's done rebounding the basketball.
Yeah, she's played very well, and it's tough downstairs. I mean, a lot of people think that being a post player is easy, or that it's, you know, a easy position to play. It's not. You're getting hit a lot. You're having elbows being knocked into your stomach, into your chest, into your head. I mean, it's very high contact downstairs. So she's played very well. I'm not quite sure why Sussex is shooting 2 fouls. I know there was a technical foul that I didn't realize.
Yeah, I know. They were lined up as though it was a technical, but there was no announcement of a technical foul.
Yeah, that was a little bizarre.
Nonetheless, it's 47-40. Brookdale in the lead. Under 8 minutes to play in this one. Griffith in for Catanzaro. Posting up. Finds Griffith. Misses the shot. And then the loose ball is picked up by Langenbach.
And now someone like Catanzaro is going to have to step up with Poplawski on the bench. So she's going to have to come up big. Still a lot of time left in this game. Plenty of time for Sussex.
Good ball movement. Barquetta Payne had it go through her hands. Jersey Blues overall winners of their last 5 in a row. Trying to make that 6. Handed off for Rouse. Tightly defended by Langenbach. 12 to shoot. Anderson resets top of the key. Anderson lost it. 2 to shoot. Catanzaro short. And the rebound, Langenbach. She's been busy on the defensive glass. She pulls up for a shot that's good.
And a nice, smart play by Langenbach. She realized that she could either go at Catanzaro and risk missing the shot, or she could pull up and knock down a jumper with nobody around her, nobody to contest the shot. That's what she did, and now she brings Sussex to within 5.
Rouse is blocked by Langenbach, and she's got it. Langenbach carries the other way. Backing in, fade away. Short rebound, Griffith with Aragonia who took it away.
Just got to do a better job corralling that rebound.
Livingston around Catanzaro, blocked by Griffith, out of bounds and staying with the Skylanders.
There's definitely some contact, Brian. I don't in any way envy the officials' job on the floor. A lot of them do a very good job most games, but there's some contact that I've seen on both sides that has not been called, and you're starting to see the level of contact increase. So the officials have to kind of, in my opinion, get a little bit better handle on that because the intensity level is picking up.
Deja Anderson streaks in for the bucket. The steal on one end turns into a transition opportunity on the other, and Anderson takes advantage. Aragonia, she drains it from three-point range.
And we talked about how Aragonia was kind of quiet in the third quarter. She's heating up at the right time now for Sussex.
It's a 4-point Brookdale lead. Anderson using the screen. Now on the drive, floater off the glass, it's good. That was nifty from Deja Anderson. Started one direction and went the other. Come up on 5 minutes to go. Langenbach, she's got it.
And now Sussex is being able to go toe-to-toe with Brookdale inside, and I think a lot of it has to do with because Poplawski is on the bench. She seems to be okay. She's getting ready to check in at the next buzzer.
That's a good sign for Brookdale. Rich Brunson out to use a timeout.
That's their final timeout, Brian.
And we're down to 4:54 remaining. It is a 30-second stoppage in the action.
And this might just be to allow Jessica Poplawski to come back into the game. Coach Brunson doesn't want to wait to the next whistle, take any chances of allowing Sussex to get even closer. But you have to give credit to Sussex. They have not been intimidated, even though that Brookdale definitely has outplayed them in the second half, I think is a fair statement to make. They have not gotten too discombobulated and have, the last couple of minutes, started to slowly chip away at that lead.
So it'll be Brookdale ball. 5 on the floor is Anderson, Espada, who's in, Danielle Griffith, Poplawski, who returns, and Catanzaro. A 51-47 Brookdale lead. Anderson going around the screen. Knocked away. And Brookdale retains it. It's knocked out of bounds by Livingston. Rachel Rouse is in now.
It's a very quick time on the floor for Alexis Espada. She was on there maybe of all 10 seconds.
We see that more than you might think. Shot clock's at 10. Anderson handles. Going down, Livingston. Anderson free for a jumper. It's short. Long rebound. Livingston scoops it up. Langenbach backing in. Pass taken away. It's Griffith. Anderson slows down the pace. Catanzaro high post. Poplawski low post. And a travel is called.
Yeah, Poplawski just unfortunately took too many steps, but that's the position that she's got to be in, and Brookdale did a nice job of finding her. Unfortunately, though, they turned it over.
Come up on 4 minutes remaining. Winner to play in the region title tomorrow. Errant pass, but Catanzaro touched it last. It was going to be Brookdale ball.
Yeah, and Catanzaro was a little bit frustrated with herself because she knew that that was going to be Brookdale ball, but I just have to play defense here.
Livingston. Inbound for Aragonia. Catch and shoot. Way short on a three. And Anderson down to a knee for the rebound. Anderson a crossover. A floater. And the rebound to Langenbach. Yeah, Anderson is shaken up. Langenbach for Aragonia. Stolen Catanzaro. There's a whistle because Anderson is not set.
Yeah, I don't know if it's an ankle injury or she's not going to probably come out of the game. It's just she's a little bit shaken up. And Anderson has played well, but on that possession, I don't like keeping it yourself and going to the bucket that early on in the shot clock. You've got to work for a little bit better shot. I know that you're feeling it, and if you're Anderson, you certainly have played very well. You've made some crucial buckets from around the perimeter, and you've demonstrated a lot and have taken it to Sussex, but you've got to try to work for a better shot.
Anderson goes down, and there's a foul. She got tangled up there with Livingston, and it looks like the foul is on Anderson. Nope, it is on Livingston, and that's her third.
And not only is it the third on Livingston, but now that's the third team foul on Sussex, Brian. So they're 2 away from the bonus. Remember how we talked about in the third quarter, Brookdale was running into some foul issues. Sussex has got to be careful they don't give Brookdale an opportunity from the foul line if they get their 5th team foul.
In for Poplawski. Fresh shot clock to work with. Catanzaro puts it in. (53-47). Crowd getting into it. Rouse defending Aragonia. Langenbach, Aragonia for three. No, and it's rebounded by Catanzaro.
And now if I'm Brookdale with a 6-point lead, 3 minutes to go, I want to take as much time in this possession as possible because we've seen how dangerous Sussex can be. There's no need to take an early shot early in the shot clock.
Catanzaro for three. It's good. Extending the range, Anna Catanzaro. And that just might be the icing on the cake tonight.
We talked to Coach Brunson before the game, Brian. He told us she's been shooting really well. Very impressive shot there by Catanzaro.
Timeout Sussex will take a break. 2:43 to play. This is the Region 19 tournament on Brookdale TV. .43 remaining in Game 2 of our 4-game stretch here for the Region 19 tournament on Brookdale TV. And the hometown Jersey Blues trying to punch their ticket. And they have a 9-point lead on Sussex. #1 team Brookdale trying to advance and move on as they look for win number 6 in a row. Win number 24 overall. Sussex, though, trying to mount one last rally. It's Livingston. Pass tit. Griffith can't save it into the hands of Aragonia. Pull-up jumper. She's fouled as she hits the floor, and she'll go to the line for Sussex.
And if you're Sussex, it's probably pretty obvious for people at home, but that's what you want to do. You want to get to the line and try to get points on the board with the clock stopped. However, this is a team in Sussex where foul shooting has not been their strong suit, so we'll see how they do down the stretch.
First one is good for the freshman Aragonia. 70% free throw shooter. One out of two. Catanzaro's got the rebound.
That's a big rebound there by Catanzaro.
Anderson watched by Livingston. Anderson just working the clock. Some fancy dribbling. Poplawski plows into Livingston. There's no call. Rouse for three. Long rebound on a bounce. It's to Livingston.
Got to get back in transition here.
And she is fouled on a reach-in. Deja Anderson cannot believe it. It's Brookdale's third. They got Rachel Rouse. It was Anderson who reacted, but it was Rouse who got called for the foul.
Well, lucky break there for Sussex because now they have a fresh shot clock and they're going to the line.
It'll be Langenbach as she's fouled on the jump shot.
And we've seen fouls hurt Brookdale in different games this year, especially down the stretch. And this is another example, Brian. You have a big lead at this point, under 2 minutes to play. You cannot allow the other team with the clock stopped to try to get points at the line.
Langenbach hits the first one.
They're leaving that door open just a crack.
The talented freshman from Branchville. 1 out of 2. Offensive rebound. Aragonia missed it. Griffith fights for the rebound and gets it. Anderson accelerates. Rouse stops, while Langenbach tightens up the defense.
Now, if you're Sussex, you don't have to foul here immediately, but you don't want to give up a close shot.
Rouse banks it in. Clutch shot, Rachel Rouse. The Brookdale lead back to 9.
What a shot.
That's a couple of times that Rouse has used the window to her advantage. Langenbach over Poplawski. She banks it in. Not over yet.
Now, if you're Sussex, you have to try to go for a trap and steal the ball away. I'm surprised they're allowing this much time to come off the clock. I don't think you can afford to play this out.
And now a foul committed near midcourt by Livingston on Anderson. For Sussex, it's their 5th team foul.
Sussex foul committed by number 2.
Or check that it's their 4th, so one more before free throws for Brookdale. Rouse inbounding far side. In for Poplawski. Sussex has to foul, and they do on Rouse. Aragonia and Langenbach were both there, and it's on Aragonia.
And Brookdale got lucky there because, again, we talk about when you get the rebound, sometimes you feel hesitant to dribble, but I think Brookdale got awfully lucky that Sussex was called with a foul instead of a jump ball. You've got to start dribbling when you get that basketball and not allow yourself to be trapped in the first place.
And before the Rouse free throws, it'll be a 30-second timeout. Sussex takes it. 58-51 the score. After this one is over, after about a half-hour break, it'll be the men's semifinal, which will take the floor. We'll have 2 games for you right here on Brookdale TV, and that'll start with a matchup of Cumberland and Middlesex.
Yeah, and that ought to be a very good game. We already know most likely, I know this game isn't decided just yet, but most likely if things continue the way they have been going, Brookdale will play Passaic in the women's final championship game tomorrow for the Region 19 tournament. And then it's to be decided as far as who we're going to have in that final on the men's side. You got Cumberland, Middlesex, Rowan College of Gloucester County, and Union. All very good teams, all highly qualified to be here. Should be a very good couple of games.
But still 55 seconds left before this one is decided. Rouse at the line. Shoots it pretty well from the line, 70% for the year. First attempt, and it is no good. Rouse for a second try. That's good. 59-51, Brookdale's pressing.
And you want to play tight defense, but you don't want to foul here.
Langenbach, Aragonia for three. It's good. And now Aragonia commits a foul on Anderson, who will go to the line on the other end.
Number 12, Alyssa Aragona. Third.
Anderson, not a quality free throw shooter, just 44% during the regular season.
Officials are discussing something on the floor. I'm not sure what they're talking about. They went over and explained it to Coach Gaffney. They're explaining it to Coach Brunson. But now Brookdale, they're in a position where they basically have the game in their hands. They're in control of their own destiny. They just need to make their foul shots down the stretch.
Rouse was able to make 1 out of 2 a moment ago. Anderson hits the first.
And for Anderson, it's an area where she's been working on to get better at the foul line. Taking foul shots before the games and warm-ups, working it on in practice.
Unable to get the second.
Again, I just have to play tight defense here.
Langenbach misfires from 3. Poplawski's out of bounds. And so Sussex will have it. They're down by 6 with 30.5 seconds to play. Aragonia inbounding. Aragonia. Livingston back for Aragonia. Her three-pointer. She falls down. There's no call. Another offensive rebound. Langenbach fires. That doesn't go. Aragonia throws it off Poplawski. What an effort.
Yeah, what a play. What a smart play by Aragonia. But I think Sussex on that possession just took a little bit too much time. They need really a 3 here very quickly.
Inbound for Aragonia. A dribble inside the arc. Way short, but Catanzaro didn't catch it. Brookdale cannot put this one on ice.
Yeah, not really Catanzaro's fault there. It was a low shot, and it kind of hit her in the foot as she was trying to corral it. So unfortunate there, but I just think that Middlesex took way too, or excuse me, Middlesex. I'm thinking about the next game that's coming up, Brian. Sussex just took way too much time on that possession before the ball went out of bounds to set up their offense. Being down by 6 with 10.5 left, that's pretty tall order to overcome.
Sussex uses a timeout. Time is running out on the Skylanders for their season. It's been a productive one, though. They've qualified for postseason play. They defeated Bergen in overtime and now matched up with number 1 Brookdale.
And regardless of how this game comes out, Brian, you have to give Sussex credit. I mean, they played hard. They really pretty much had Brookdale in control. They really controlled what went on the floor in the first half. Brookdale made some adjustments, picked up their intensity, going into the locker room at halftime, came out in the second half with even more intensity. Sussex didn't really have an answer, but they've been able to fight and keep it close from the majority of this game.
10.5 seconds remain. That's what stands between Brookdale and playing for the region championship tomorrow afternoon. That's thrown to the bench. What happened there? Was it deflected? The officials don't know who to give the ball to. It looked like the ball was just thrown away, did it not?
Yeah, that's what I thought too, so I'm not sure what the confusion was. I just think Livingston just threw it out of bounds. But now for Brookdale, you have to get the ball in. You're in a dangerous spot because you're right underneath your own basket.
Rouse is held immediately by Langenbach. About a second ran off the clock, and so more free throws coming. Langenbach now with 4 personal fouls.
Shooting 2.
Rouse. And 2 free throws to pretty much put this one out of reach. With 9.2 to play, Sussex across midcourt. Livingston fires, banks it in. It's a 3, and so don't change the channel just yet, as Rouse has to make more free throws. Aragonia commits the foul. Sussex is just barely hanging on by a thread here, courtesy of Livingston.
Prerogative still doesn't change, though, for Brookdale. They're in control. You just have to make your foul shots, and I think it's just going to be a very valiant effort by Sussex, but they're just going to come up a little bit short.
Rouse has made her free throws down the stretch. That's 3 in a row. Standout performance for the sophomore today. 2 out of 2 from the line, 3.4 to go. Inbounded for Livingston. Final seconds run off the clock. The Aragonia 3 is good. That will count. But the game is over, and the Brookdale Jersey Blues move on. They will play for the Region 19 Championship tomorrow afternoon. And once again, it'll be in front of their home fans as they will take on Passaic. The final score this afternoon, Brookdale 64 and Sussex 60. An entertaining battle that we saw here on Brookdale TV. Very much a game of runs, especially to start in the first half. Brookdale started strong. Sussex then controlled the game for a good part of it, but down the stretch, I think a couple players really stood out. Rouse in her shot-making ability, and I think the biggest basket of the game, the Anna Catanzaro 3.
Well, certainly that definitely helped to spark the Brookdale offense late in the game, but I really do think the Player of the Game award has to go to Jessica Poplowski. I mean, her rebounding is what got Brookdale back in the game in the first place. The intensity that she brought to the floor helped the Jersey Blues as a whole kind of get fired up, and they played with a lot more intensity in the second half as a result of that. So an all-around good win. They play Passaic tomorrow in the championship game. This is what we're used to seeing out of Brookdale. The last several games, you can characterize them as in sometimes being lethargic. They definitely weren't lethargic tonight. They played very well, and now they have a shot to go to the Nationals once again if they're able to get a win tomorrow against Passaic. A very good quality opponent there. So certainly a very good game. Good run for Sussex. They made it interesting down the stretch, but I just think they lost sight of what their game strategy was. They looked at times confused on offense, especially when Brookdale started to hit their shots, and that's really how the game finished.
So once again, the final score, Brookdale wins it 64-60 over Sussex in what was a very good game in front of their home fans. So Tim and I are coming back. The men's games are set to check in next. We're halfway through on our Brookdale TV marathon today. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in a little bit.
And I'm here with Coach Brunson. Coach, congratulations. How does it feel to move on?
Oh, it always feels good to win. But I tell you, let's give credit to Sussex. What a game they played. I mean, I told Coach after the game, your team plays hard every time we play them. But I'm just happy that we won the game and looking forward to Passaic.
And tomorrow, you know, you're going to face off Passaic. And last time you guys faced off, it was a tension-filled game. What are you expecting tomorrow?
It's going to be tough. It's going to be two teams that want to go into the Nationals. And the team who played the hardest and the smartest team is going to win.
I agree with you. Any strategy so far, or are you just going to celebrate today's win?
Well, now you're in the championship. It's always best to go home and review all the tapes. And if you're smart, you do things differently.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Coach. And I'm Simi Kaur. We'll be back here for the men's division. Stay tuned.